Welcome back, guys. Happy Friday. Major news broke out over the past 24 hours about some billionaires investing in this one specific crypto company. And this narrative is set to be one of the hottest narratives in the entire crypto bull run. In fact, it's changing the entire way that we look at security and blockchain. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about who these billionaires are, what they're buying, and I'm going to tell you how to get ahead of the curve. Additionally, we identified a new meme coin that I'm quite bullish on. It's hard to deny its virality, its mimetic value in the space. So guys, if you're excited for this, if you're excited to learn how to make money on a Friday when the whole markets, the whole altcoin markets are not looking so hot, do me a favor and destroy that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, because this is the channel where you come to find out all the hottest alpha for everything altcoin related. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring you, as we always do, some Bitcoin and macro news first. As you guys can see, we're coming into the weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I want to be out enjoying my time. I don't want to be stressing out the market. As you can see, I exited at a loss. My Bitcoin positions here about 75% yesterday, and the rest earlier today. That's okay. Take the L's when you can, and go out and enjoy the weekend. But I see a lot of bearishness on the timeline, and really the altcoins have not been looking good at all. With that being said, am I bearish? No. I'll show you why in just a second. Well, for this is for one reason, right? Yesterday in the video, I told you guys that I was a bit concerned, right? Looking at the data coming over here from the ETF news, right? The Cointucky Derby. And we see that yesterday, the 22nd, yesterday, depending on where you are in the world. It's now going into Saturday morning for me. But we could see we had a strong day, right? $251 million of net inflows into Bitcoin ETF, with Grayscale slowing down significantly in one of their smallest days ever, actually, at just 55.7 million net outflows. On this chart here, I can just see one other day where there was less outflows, and that was back here, barely less, right? On February 9th. So, guys, I was in sales for a long time. I used to sell gym memberships. I sold mobile phones, and I imagine that the day in the life of a financial advisor is similar to any other sales job, where, some days you just crush it and you get a lot of deals done, and some days you don't, and sometimes it ebbs and flows. And my guess is that this is exactly what's going on with all of the financial advisors from BlackRock and Fidelity and the independent advisors. They just have good days and bad days of inflows and outflows, and depends on, just depends on how much volume they can close. And there's probably all kinds of things going on too. There's probably incentives within BlackRock, like they do weekly, monthly sales leaders and all this stuff. And, there's probably some strategy behind these guys. They're like, yeah, I know I got this whale. I could close him for, $50 million. I just got to pick up the phone and I know he'll do whatever I say. They might be banking that for a day when, their sales are bad, or there's a bigger prize on the line, or commissions are raised for whatever, right? And so I really don't expect this volume to slow down at all. Again, as I said before many times, the largest institutions, I still think most of this volume is coming from like rich family offices, ultra high net worth individuals, things like that. But we still probably haven't seen pension funds and the large amounts of retirement funds and things like that come into this space yet. So that being said, my position is still very, very bullish on the markets overall. However, I am de-risking in the meantime with altcoins and just chilling for a while. But I did make a significant purchase today. We'll get into that in just a bit. Like I said yesterday, one of the reasons may have been this. So Nvidia's earnings last night was one for the history books. Nvidia has now added over $230 billion to its market cap today after earnings. It's the biggest one-day gain for any company in history, right? So this thing stole attention for a period of time, right? And for good reason, as we talked about before. So it seems to correlate quite well with the lack of interest in that Bitcoin ETF in that day. I'm not pointing any specific things to that, but some other bullish news is that we found out that Reddit here, Reddit said it invested part of its excess cash into Bitcoin and Ether, making the firm one of the few companies that directly purchased digital assets alongside the likes of Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy, and Elon Musk's Tesla. Now, if you guys know or don't know about Reddit, it is not an extremely profitable company. So it's not like these inflows were probably huge, or this balance sheet, but it is another bullish signs, just going to show that, because they are going for an IPO, right? And so we will have another publicly traded company with Bitcoin and Ethereum on the balance sheet. I would say that's pretty bullish. Now, let's go ahead and listen to this as well.
China obviously has its own push in the Chinese digital currency. But isn't the next logical step for you to embrace Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin obviously is decentralized. The government can't get its hands on it. What about Bitcoin with all the young people, including African Americans, who are very interested in it?
Well, a lot of people are doing it. I always liked one currency. I call it a currency. I like the dollar. But a lot of people are doing it. And frankly, it's taken a life of its own. You probably have to do some regulation, as you know. But many people are embracing it. And more I'm seeing people wanting to pay Bitcoin. And you're seeing something that's interesting. So I can live with it one way or the other. I've always liked one really powerful thing, and that's called the dollar.
So you see an interesting turn of events here where Trump, he was very much kind of against Bitcoin or anything that threatened the US dollar. And now he realizes that a lot of Americans want cryptocurrency. A lot of Americans want Bitcoin. And when you have BlackRock stepping onto the scene, demanding attention, people turn around and listen. So it's an interesting perspective change from Trump here. And good to see that, well, we'll talk about Trump a bit more here, but regardless of your political affiliation, it's good to see a president who is not anti-Bitcoin. And it makes total sense to me if you're the leader of America, that you want to protect the US dollar. That makes perfect sense and probably what you should be doing for your country. But to have an open stance to Bitcoin is going to be a positive swing in the way that people view him in the election. I think he has to do it regardless. So what were we talking about earlier? This billionaires. And so A16Z, who manages something like 30 something billion dollars in capital, 36 billion or something. They invested recently $100 million into Eigenlayer. So if you guys are not new to the channel, you know exactly what Eigenlayer is. It's a Ethereum restaking protocol. Allows you to take that staked ETH and restake it to secure other protocols. Very, very bullish narrative. And so you guys know that we've been talking about that for a while. One of the calls that we made, restake, didn't work out so well. There was some bad token economics in there. But this narrative as a whole is going to be absolutely massive. And before I get into the TVL and other things, let's just quickly listen about this Ali Yaha guy from A16Z, what he says about Eigenlayer and its founder. So it's exceedingly rare to come across a founder with a vision and plan that has potential to change everything. I have come to know Eigenlayer founder Sarim Kanan to be not only brilliant, but also fundamentally motivated by a vision of the future so crisp and compelling that it momentarily becomes real when you talk to him. Sarim has what I like to call a Promethean flame. He is driven to bring a new technology to life, first and foremost because of that future it will create. So very encouraging words from A16Z. Of course, they just parked $100 million into this project at probably I'm guessing a quite high valuation. So we're not here to make bets on Eigenlayer. What we are here to do is look at the narrative, right? And you can see that right now they have $7.7 billion in TVL, making it, I think, the third or fourth largest Ethereum staking protocol now by TVL. absolutely exploding long before a token is even in the market. Now, a lot of this is probably has to do with people farming this airdrop. However, it doesn't matter because there's a lot of other protocols building on Eigenlayer that want to get that restaking potential, right? They want to get that yield that's going to be benefiting from the restake, and it really opens up a whole realm of possibilities. From what I've seen so far, we see like the most basic people building on, and that's not bad. It's just the lowest hanging fruit of people building on Eigenlayer, right? Like, but from what I understand with Eigenlayer, it's take your staked ETH that's securing Ethereum, and then taking that, using Eigenlayer, which essentially grants permissions and hands over permission for you to use that same value to secure another consensus protocol. Maybe it's Chainlink price feeds, or maybe it's Pyth price feeds, or maybe it's some other, maybe it's Solana validators, right? And if you're using that, then you have that value securing that other protocol, and the same rules apply for that protocol. Where if I'm using it to secure Solana validators and I disobey what I'm supposed to be doing, or I'm a bad actor in Solana, then I get slashed, right? And the Solana validators take the rights to my staked Ethereum, and then they can go, then they now have rights to it, right? And then so that they can go and liquidate it, or they just assume that value, and I lose that value. So it makes a lot of sense. Some people are worried about how much this could wind up, and if there could be some crazy chain of events in the future, but we'll have to see. Some crazy chain of events. I mean, like, you could have it staked securing Ethereum, then it's staking Solana, then it is price feeds, and then and then you have all this value securing some protocol, and it just goes under, and then it causes a chain reaction of these things to bleed. And I guess that could happen, but that's far beyond my realm of what I want to even think about. I just want to think about how do we make money on this narrative. So Altlayer, guys, we've talked about that on the show quite a bit. Altlayer, and if you guys have been following it since we talked about it, you're up pretty much only since then, as it hit new all-time highs earlier today or yesterday. So Altlayer just closed another $14 million round led by Polychain. Binance Labs invested in Renzo today. This is their second restaking investment in 2 weeks. A16Z invests $100 million in Eigenlayer. Some interesting developments this week, kind of staring at us in the face. And you can see Lucky XBT also goes on to talk about, people after the announcement of the Polychain investment, it's been pumping, since then. And then people tried to play the beta on this one, Pendle, and it didn't work out so well. So all eyes on the OG here. And it's not, it's not a crazy market cap. Again, it's one of these low float, high FDV, low market, mid cap market cap, but it's a really interesting protocol, right? It is a fast, cheap roll up that takes advantage of Eigenlayer to do native yield. And so it's staking and restaking protocols as a service. And, we've even looked at, I haven't, asked the Commonwealth team, like, is this something that we want to do since we're building on ZK Sync and using Eigenlayer? Because it makes a lot of sense if Commonwealth has all these funds and has all this value in these funds that are waiting to be deployed in investments for it to be earning passive yield on something, right? And so if it has, let's say that at the top of the bull run, Commonwealth has like 2 or 3 funds and they each have $1 billion sitting in there. We have $3 billion of value sitting there. And if would we prefer that to be earning value, or just sitting there stagnant and not earning revenue, right? And so if it takes a few years to deploy that $3 billion, hopefully it's earning, for every billion at 5%, that's $50 million in revenue. And so it makes a lot of sense for a protocol like Commonwealth, for example, to be on some sort of staking or restaking protocol, like a Blast maybe, or like a Altlayer, for example. So I think there's a lot of value in what they've been building here, and that's why it's getting a lot of momentum. You have a nice pullback today with alts bleeding here. I mean, if you go and look at the chart, it's been almost up only since this initial pullback, but you have a 9% pullback right now. If you're looking to get into this, I don't know how low alts might bleed, but if you're looking at more of these secure, kind of coming into blue chip type projects, I would say this one is it. And also you have, so the TGE date was the 25th of January, exactly 1 month ago, pretty much. And for 6 months, we don't have any major unlocks from the team or from advisors or from the investors. So you have some time before the major sell pressure comes in, about 5 more months. And, in 5 more months, guys, we're going to be in altcoin season where we're looking at much lower cap plays in this. And so I think that while we're looking at rotation of capital from Bitcoin, Ethereum, major blue chips, eventually we'll come into mid caps, and then we're going to go into small caps and micro caps where we make those real juicy 100Xs. But if you want to look at a place that I think is going to do, is likely to appreciate, between now and the next 4 or 5 months, 2, 3, 4X, something like Altlayer is probably a good place to look. Now, you also have this Dencun upgrade, and we also have the Ethereum ETF that potentially might get passed in May. So a lot of reasons for the Ethereum ecosystem to have a lot of attention coming up quite soon. Now, what is this meme coin that we're going to talk about? This is MAGA, the movement on blockchain. This is Trump's. It's not his official Trump, but this is just a meme coin. You could say it's a MAGA meme coin, make crypto great again. Mostly on ETH, but it looks like someone did use Wormhole to wrap it and put it on Solana as well. But the liquidity really exists on ETH. If you're going to buy it, that's where I did it earlier today. I went and made a purchase here. Let's look at the chart. Chart is looking very bullish, as you can see. I mean, God, I wish I would have known about it back here. But still sitting under $200 million market cap, which means that, think about, now this is not crazy metrics by any means, right? Like when you have the real viral coins, like when Pepe took off and Bonk took off, you were seeing the holder count grow by 7,000 a day, right? And so we haven't seen that yet. However, as Trump becomes more and more in the spotlight, and it becomes more and more clear that he seems to be the front leader here, as you can see here from the charts, Trump's the likelihood here of these candidates. I didn't even know Michelle Obama was running for president, but you can see that Donald Trump with 43.8% odds at winning and Joe Biden at just 28. It doesn't really matter. I think none of us here should have a strong, certainly this is not a political channel. So we're not here to talk about politics. We're here to make money, right, on opportunities. And so I think that this is a really interesting perspective. And it's not just degens here, although I guess funds can be degens. But look, Andrew Kang here from Mechanism Capital. So Mechanism is a pretty high quality tier 1 fund. It says Mechanism Capital has accumulated its first new positions of 2024. These new positions center around Trump and include Trump-related meme coins and NFTs. Prolific usage of Trump sticker packs to start immediately. Basic thesis. Meme coins are all about attention economy, and Trump is probably one of the best attention monopolizers in the world. U.S. primary elections just started, so now you have a state territory election every week or two until summer, so he is constantly in the news cycle. And of course, after that, you have the general election. This bet is not just on whether Trump wins or not. Polling indicates that he is very likely to win, but that's not the point. The point is that he is going to be in the headlines everywhere, all the time, and people are constantly going to be talking about Trump. His whole strategy, being provocative, saying outrageous and funny things, that gets people going. Not only do you have elections, but you also have court cases and indictments and several trials like Mar-a-Lago and everything else. And you guys can read the rest of this later, but he ends with overall, this is the first meme coin I've seen that I believe can rival Doge and SHIB. Project roadmap below. And this is just, and this is essentially Trump's campaigning. And I could just imagine, we know that Trump has made his NFT Trump cards, right? And those sold out quickly. And then He did another one, and we know that his stance toward like crypto is changing a bit. And I could just imagine Trump, like when he finds out that his meme coin is like approaching $1 billion and like getting up there with the top, and then like, you know, him on stage just being like, yeah, even my meme, we win all the time. Even my, I can't do a Trump impression. I don't know who I'm doing, but I wish I could do a Trump impression right now. We you know, just him saying like, we win everywhere. We even win in meme coins. We win on stage. You know, his ego will love the fact that his coin is crushing the ladder there and climbing up. So I took a pretty, not a crazy size position. I mean, someone bought it a huge amount earlier, pulled back. I think I bought it right here around 175 million market cap. I think it was like $3.75. I'm going to watch carefully. You know, if this thing starts, what I really like to pay attention to is the holder count here. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing you my screen. The holder count here. And I want to see this thing climbing. And I'll also be looking for a pullback, because you can see the pattern here has been big, nice pumps, nice pullbacks for a while. Pumps, pullbacks. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see a pullback here. If it is, like, I didn't empty my whole clip of everything that I would want to put in here if I think this thing really has legs. But I made an entry today, even after these green candles, because you never know when something's just going to go completely viral. However, it is likely, as it has historically always pulled back, it is likely to have another pullback and maybe present itself with another buying opportunity for you guys. But one thing is clear, is that it is headed in the right direction, right? And we'll go over and listen to crypto banter real quick.
Trump thesis for me is the same as the Trump NFT cards. And that is that, you know, there's going to be an election soon. He's going to win many, many punches on the way to the final election, you know, debates and interviews and stuff like that. And every time he does, the meme coin will be the barometer of what the public believe of his wins and losses. And then you're going to have the biggest showdown at some point, which is going to be the election. And if he wins the election, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that it explodes. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that the coin completely explodes if he wins the election. So I guess that one you could kind of like take a bet if you think that Trump's going to score goals.
Yeah. I mean, meme coins are kind of like prediction markets on like cultural relevance, right? Or
exactly.
Something like
that. Yeah, you summarized it.
The thing is that like they're not. You can like create more supply of like these representations, right? Like there's Trump coin, there's MAGA, there's Trump NFTs. Like, you know, Trump issued the first collection, it sold out. He like issued another 4 more, right? Classic Trump style, like
unbelievable.
You know, so you never know. Like, he might do his own. If he sees Trump's up, he only has 7 figures of it. Maybe he does his own coin. Like, who knows? But they're fun. I don't know. I try not to overthink them too much. Like, I don't think they're the future of finance. I also don't have like this like disgust or.
Yeah. Anyway, so you either talk about that as well. Also, as you guys know, that sometimes, you know, as like, I think what happened with Shiba, they sent like a bunch of Shiba tokens to Vitalik. Here, the creators of this Trump coin, the MAGA, they sent a bunch to Trump's wallet. So his largest holding right now, larger than his ETH and wrapped ETH, is of MAGA token, this Trump token, $2.11 million. It's even worth now more at the price that it's at now. So him himself is holding it. Now, I guess if he dumps it for some reason, then that's probably not going to be good. But you never know with these meme coins, guys. Like, always be very, very, very careful. Like, anything can happen very, very quickly. This could go to zero very, very quickly. But Sistine Research says another all-time high for Trump. Trump says he can live with Bitcoin. Trump denounces CBDCs. Cryptoman Rand says he's bullish on Trump. And rumors of a sex listing soon. Trump is only now just hitting the crypto narrative mainstream acceleration. And guys, one last thing too is Render. I just want to talk to you about Render real quick. As you know, I showed you this chart yesterday, taught you guys about the weekly breakouts. And another good reason of why you want to look for confirmation before entering a position here. Now, I'm still watching this chart like a hawk, right? But we have 2 days and about 7 hours left for the weekly close. You want to see this close above the $7.94 before making an entry. If it does, it's probably extremely bullish. Or what we want to see is we also want to see the retest. So we want to see it come up, bounce off this line, turn resistance into support, and then another breakout moving forward, moving up. So this is why we wait. This is why we wait for confirmation, because it did break this line that we were talking about, but it got pulled back. And yeah, that's exactly why we do what we said we did yesterday. So guys, that's going to wrap it up. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I will catch you guys on the next one on Monday. Bye-bye.